What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Indie Industry Miami podcast, where we bring you real conversations with the nation's top producers, influencers, and game changers in the business and real estate. Today's guest is someone I've been looking forward to having on this show for a long time. He's not just a sales coach, he's the #1 sales trainer in the nation. His energy, his mindset, and his results have transformed thousands of entrepreneurs. I'm talking about Daniel G, the guy who took his passion for sales, built an empire from it, and turned himself into one of the most respected voices in the world. We're gonna dive deep into what it really takes to win in sales. So buckle up, because this one's gonna light a fire under you. Let's get into it.
Man, it's a privilege to be here with you, man. The top sales influencer, top sales coach in the nation right now, Daniel G. Man, what a freaking honor, man. Super excited, dude.
And we met in a pool.
We met in the pool, man, at the Trump. Yeah. You know what's crazy? I was actually, before anybody knew about you, like, well, in my team, you know what I mean? I freaking stumbled about your content, and I was like, dude, who the heck is this freaking guy with this energy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, dude, I heard one of your podcasts talking about winger or expert.
Yeah.
Right?
Said, you're either winger or world-class closer.
World-class closer or winger. I'm a freaking winger, dude.
Yeah.
I started in commercial real estate because I had no choice. I just got married, freaking broke. You know what I'm saying? I was pushed into the industry.
Yep.
Dude, it took me a month to start picking up the phone to call. Just looking at guys freaking in the bullpen, freaking nervous. I was like, how do I call? Dude, I got it, started breaking into it, locked myself in the conference room, knocking it out. You know what I mean? So I'm a winger. I improvise as I went. But when I saw your videos, I was like, dude, what the heck? This guy, there's a freaking closer on social media talking about freaking sales. And I started sharing it with all my guys, like, look, that
was this like a year back?
Dude, about a year back.
Okay.
And I was like, you guys gotta freaking follow this guy. So long story short, we go to the Trump, I'm with my family, the kids, we're meeting up friends. And I have a buddy of mine, he's in the insurance world. He's trying to trying to learn sales, you know what I'm saying? I'm telling him, dude, watch, follow this guy. And I'm there hanging out in the pool, and I look and I'm like, what the, is that freaking Daniel G?
Yeah.
Hell no. And I saw you with your girl, your wife,
Sure. Not my wife.
Well, your girl.
This podcast can take that out.
And I was like, I didn't know if to come approach you, but I was like, I have to, there's no way I'm not.
Yeah.
So I went up and I was like, hey man, it was just a real pleasure. It was an honor for me to meet you.
Yeah.
And to hang out, man, we connected, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I always tell people, I say go up to people, talk to people, say what up to them, especially if it's just to chat it up and just be normal and just be a normal human being, because this is what happens.
That's it, man, yeah.
So.
Yeah, and when you're in sales, man, you talk to everyone. So, man, real pleasure to be here with you. I have obviously a following here in Miami. You brought your talents here to South Florida, our backyard. And, I got to introduce you to the whole commercial real estate world here in South Florida, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, man, talk to us how you got started, dude. Like, where you're from, how you started, why sales.
I started in door-to-door selling. Like when I was 14 years old, I started in door-to-door sales. My first sales job, I was selling home services. And I did that for about 4 years. At 15, I started building a sales team. My manager came up to me in the first year. He said, hey, dude, he's like, you can keep knocking on doors, or you can learn how to knock and learn how to train a team and grow a team and hire friends to knock on doors. He's like, when you do that, then you'll have a little bit of freedom inside of life. So I said, oh shit. He's like, don't stop being the lone sales wolf. He's like, always be that lone sales wolf, but you want to build a team because a team is freedom. So he started teaching me, he's like, the people that lose then just build a team, but they stop producing. He's like, be the producer and be the builder. So I learned that when I was young, like 15 years old. I said, oh my God, this makes so much sense. I can hire these kids and they can door knock and they can make money while, I'm also door knocking. So at 14, 15, I started building out a sales team. I was always sales training. Like now I do this because it's second nature for me. Like I trained sales. It wasn't my primary business to train sales. It was almost like, I was already doing it since I was 15, training people how to deal with objections, get off my lawn. I need to think about it. I'm not interested. Come back, circle the block. So Then after I built out a sales agency about 7 years back where I trained salespeople and I outsourced them to companies. So that was my primary business. I seen that there was sales companies that needed salespeople.
You trained them specific, industry specific,
No,
or just
I would just train people
sales?
inside of a program and then outsource them to companies that needed people that had generic sales training.
Gotcha.
Right? So I became the sales training company plus outsourcing. And then sales training became second nature. Like people started saying, oh, can I have you on this stage? Can I do this for you? Can you do this? Blah, blah, blah. And then I just started recording my content on social media and it just picked up, steam
No
and
public
fire.
speaking, freaking classes. or
No,
courses.
never.
That was just
Yeah. I'm the most probably booked speaker in the world with not having a speaking manager, a speaking coach, a speaking assistant, nothing. Like I've never even had a speaking manager to do my events.
wow. Look at that.
Yeah. Everything comes in just through referrals and friends and just keep doing. That's like my whole business is just.
Dude,
word of mouth.
I'm not saying this just because you're here.
Yeah.
And we're on this interview, but I look at Tony Robbins and I look at you, and dude, you're like, sorry Tony, but your energy, the way you connect with the young generation right now on the sales level, dude, is by far.
And that's the thing. Like, I mean, and everybody has like Tony Robbins.
Everybody
is
has a different style.
He's a
everybody's
legend in his
different.
own. You
Yeah,
like
exactly.
container a guy like that. But what I said is I looked at all the trainers when I was coming into space. I said, how can they become relatable to today's market?
Yeah.
Like that's the point of a trainer. It's to be a chameleon and to understand today's market. Like the kids are fast paced.
Yeah.
There has to be an advocate for the industry. And a lot of the trainers were outdated, seasoned, got boring. So I said, no, I'm gonna give people what they want. They need energy, right? I'm not gonna show up without energy. It's part of my non-negotiables. But yeah, man, everything's just been through referrals, word of mouth. Just one event leads to another event. One training leads to another training, right? That's why I always say yes to things. Like, dude, right before we got on this podcast, Andy Elliott called me. He's like, yo, I need you. I said, dude, before you sell me, I'm just a yes. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I'm a yes to it because I don't know what's gonna happen after that relationship or after that seat. He said, I need you to do this. Okay, I'm good. I'm gonna do it. Just don't worry about it. I'm a yes. Show me where I gotta go. And that's the reason why we're sitting down right now. I think too many people in sales and business, they take so long to make a decision.
Yep.
Yeah, like I'd rather make the decision than figure out if I made the wrong or the right decision. Like there was this lady, one of my friends, we were out for dinner like a few months ago. She's with all her girlfriends, and they were telling me this strategy where they're like, yeah, I don't want to sleep with the guy in the first month because then like I want to see if he's an asshole or if he's not an asshole. And I said, let me play devil's advocate for a sec, right? And I just wanted to challenge her mindset. I said, listen, so you're not going to sleep with a guy for the first month. I'm like, do you want to? She's like, well, yeah. I said, okay, so you're not going to sleep with him after the first month. I said, so when do you plan on sleeping with the dude that you like? They're like, well, I said, is there a time frame? She's like, well, after like, 3-4 months to know if he's a good guy. I said, so let's say you sleep with him in the 4th month, or let's say the 12th month, and you waited 12 months to sleep with this dude. And then after you sleep with this dude, you figure out he's an asshole and he leaves you after that. I'm like, wouldn't you want to just know that he's an asshole within the first week? I'm like, if that's your, after I sleep, like, I'm going to wait to see who he is, and then after I sleep with him, then I'm going to, then it's good, then I'm going to sleep with him. But after you sleep with him, how about if he's an asshole? How about if he's a nice guy? I said, you might as well just sleep with him after the first night. And I was challenging their thought because I said, listen, this is how people think inside of business. I said, it takes people so long to make a decision. Right. Like you got to have core values and make your decision based off those core values, not based off time. Right. Not based off time. Meaning like some people think things take time to, like a relationship takes, you need to have your core values. So like, does the guy have X? Does he have Y? Does he have Z? Okay, yes. Will you make a wrong decision? Probably, maybe, yes, no, who knows? Yeah. But like, as long as you know what you want inside a business, then you can make your decisions off that. So if I know, okay, Bob does X, Y, Z, so if he asks me for something, I'm gonna be a yes. Bob does X, Y, Z, I don't like it. If he asks for something, I'm gonna be a no because it doesn't figure into my core values, right? Right. So some people can't make decisions fast because they don't know what they stand for.
Correct. They don't have a moral ground.
Correct.
Yeah, so they don't know who they are.
Or they don't know what they want.
Or they don't know what they want.
They don't know what they want. They don't know how people can use them best. Like, I think life is just a game of using people. So I'm like, if somebody asks me to do something, I also say like, okay, if I need to use that person for something, they also got to use me. So life is a complete exchange of two individuals using each other for a positive gain. But a lot of, let's say if it's my team members, hey, I want you to go do this. I try to figure out, before I go use that person for something, whether it's money that they want to pay me or whatever it is, can they actually use me? Can they utilize me? And if you don't know who you are and what you want, you'll never be able to figure out who can use you inside of life. So that's also important to figure out
what value you're going to bring to the
Correct.
table. 100%. I always tell my guys, I'm like, guys, in this industry, we're all about value. We're in the service game. You know what I'm saying? We sell commercial buildings, but at the end of the day, we're marketers, but we got to give value. How are you going to get somebody to call you back? If they receive a lot of value from you, it's almost like common sense. It's almost like a natural law that they're going to want to call you back because they receive so much value from you. Hey, this building sold down the street. Hey, this just happened. They're getting these emails from you. By the time they want to sell, who do you think they're going to hit up? It's you.
Top of mind.
Top of mind. You've been giving them value since day one. You know what I mean? And that's how you sell, obviously empathic listening, all that stuff. But, listen, let me ask you something.
Let's go.
Your first cold call. Can you think about that one? How was that?
Well, I was in door knocking before that. So, I remember the first door I knocked, and I remember the first home I called on. The first door I knocked, I went up, I knocked on it, I ran away. The first cold call I made, the guy picked up, he said, "Who's calling?" I stuttered, and I hung up. So those were the first, and that was after me being in sales for 4 years. So my first door I knocked.
So that was 4 years in.
So yeah, my first cold call is already 4 years inside of door knocking.
Wow.
But it was a completely different game.
Different game.
So my brain was like, I got used to the door knocking.
Yeah, the body language, dude,
Yeah, I think because I was in an office, my VP was looking at me, and he's like, the moment somebody picks up that phone, we were selling advertisements down in New York Times Square, so we'd only be able to sell to CEOs. Or vice presidents of marketing, C-suite or vice president level. So the guy picked up, can't remember who it was, but I was selling him an advertisement. He picked up and he's like, "Who's calling?" And I just choked and I hung up. He's like, all right, get back on the phone and go do it again. So that was my first cold call. Like, I always say, you got to do it enough times to get the pit out of your stomach.
It's the reps, man. The reps.
So that was my first cold call. My first cold call, I hung up the moment the guy picked up.
Who was your biggest influencer growing up? Like, who encouraged you the most during your first stage of, when you first started selling? You have someone that really
I would say, a lot of, I just picked up so many books from my father. Like I picked up Brian Tracy. I picked up these old school sales trainers.
Brian Tracy's
Zig
awesome.
Ziglar, Tom Hopkins, he used to sell homes, another guy that used to sell homes. I picked up all the books. So I learned a little bit from everybody. I didn't really have a mentor in the space directly. Programs and courses weren't such a thing when I started selling early on. So it's just a lot of books.
When was a turning point? Like when you noticed this is for me, sales is my...
When I took it seriously, meaning when I took sales as if I was going to university. So I dropped out of university when I was 19, 19. And I said, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to treat this like university. And that's why I am where I am today, because I said to myself, how would I do this if I was inside of a university? Most people, like I said, they wing sales. So I said, well, let me study a chapter of sales every single week. So I was already in the sales gig, and then I started studying sales. I started saying, okay, let me study prospecting. I'm going to buy the top 3 prospecting courses and 2 prospecting books. So I typed on Google, world's top prospecting courses. So I learned prospecting. Then I said, let me understand the art of a conversation when they do jump on. Let me understand the art of closing. And every single week, I took a different part of the sales cycle, and I started studying sales, and I started applying it. And at I'm 31 now, 11 years back, my whole life changed because I started treating sales not based on what I paid to get inside, but based on what the profession could pay me. A lot of people fall into sales. Nobody thinks about becoming a salesperson. You don't think about it, you just fall into it. It's like, yo, jackass, come here, right? And then a lot of salespeople were jackasses before, and it's like, yeah, come here. You have a lot of hunger? Yeah, come here. So it accepted us, and people usually put their respect based on the entry, but not based on the potential. So I said, man, what does this potential have? So I seen people inside of my medical sales organization. When I dropped out of university, I started with a medical device sales job. I seen one guy make $750,000 in the year. I said, oh, that's more than doctor money. So I started treating it like that. I started treating sales like an actual profession. I started studying it. I made my own curriculum with great energy. I said the most killer salespeople are the ones that have good energy, but also the discipline to study it too as well. That person together becomes insanely unstoppable, right? So it was like, I already knew I had good energy. I knew I had good charisma, but I didn't want to stop at $100,000, $200,000 a year. I said, well, can I mix that good energy with discipline and focus?
Yeah.
So I just mixed both of those best worlds. Because the worst thing is seeing a high energetic sales rep without the discipline to focus and study.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Yeah.
Dude, I tell my guys all the time, guys, we are in the best industry selling commercial real estate.
Right.
If you treat it, if you give it the value it deserves, one call can change your life. Literally, one deal is multi six figures. You know, one deal can be 500 grand. Like, if you grasp that,
It's crazy.
it's crazy. How many freaking calls can you make?
Yeah, it's like most salespeople are like thinking transactionally, but like the moment you think of, oh, I'm like one call away, literally from my whole life changing, you would treat a lot more calls with respect.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people are like, oh, it's just a lead. You know, a lead came in. Let's say, for example, I have a book, right, that we launched called The Sales Game. And we got to get copies out your office, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still waiting for the order, but
So we, when we launched that book, let's say thousands of people are buying books. And then, you know, we have a lead magnet, which is like a book. So you put their name, email, phone number, So we give sales teams like thousands of book leads. And I'm looking at these people at my sales team that were starting to call these books. And they're just like, oh, okay, do you have any like other leads than these book leads? I'm like, listen, this person purchased a book. They're so warm that they went to go buy something. I said, that person can turn into a $5, $10, $20, $100,000 deal based on how you respect the lead. You know, I'm like, some people have to go out there and cold knock and stuff. I'm like, you got this lead. I'm like, you have to put respect on the lead. Right? Like that person showed interest. They put their name, email, phone number. They're on a call. They gave you 15 seconds. I said, to me, that's millions of dollars. But you just see it as a lead. It's like the way you see your lead is the way you approach the conversation. Like, you're the leader inside of the conversation trying to figure out, okay, what do they need? But you can't do that if you have low energy, like, about the lead. You know, like, I'm always like, okay, what's this going to turn into?
How do you deal with that? Like, how do you deal with somebody in your team, in your organization that's already not appreciating the lead? Do they learn from that? Do they change their mindset on that? Or
Well, I think it's the first thing is the perception. Like, you can't train, you can't train somebody that doesn't have the perception that lead can turn into something. So, like, you can try to, but you're bashing a brick wall when you say, like, hey, like, okay, do the script this way, do the script that way. It's like you can never teach hunger into somebody.
Right.
So I always ask people, I say, like, what do you see when you see that door? What do you see when you see that lead? And then I'll see where their mind goes. Like, oh, you know, this person, I said, okay, here's what I see. When I go on stage and I'm training, if I just see it like just a bunch of like people there on stage, I don't train with energy. But if I look at every chair, like every single person wants to hear something to change their business, now my energy matches my thought of what these people came for. So you never outperform what you think is about to happen. So what do you think is about to happen when you go knock a door? If you think they're gonna say no to you, your energy won't outperform it. Like, I know people say go for the no, and I like that, but I say, how about if your mind was always like, this person's gonna say yes? How would your energy be?
No, a whole lot different. Even on the call, it's different.
Like, what do you know if that person's gonna say yes to you? You're just gonna go through a sequence of no's, but at the end, the person's gonna say yes, your whole energy would be different. Right?
I tell my guys when they're farming, cold calling, I say, guys, you gotta believe what you're selling. You gotta believe what you're gonna pitch. Like, you're not just calling because of numbers. Because, there's a frame. I say, hey, out of 20 doors you're gonna knock, when you get that one deal, if you divide it by the doors you knocked, it's a number. It's $300 to $500 or up to $1,000 per door. If you look at it that way, but make sure that you're at least going for the yes, expecting the yes.
That's
even though you're getting hammered. But there's a yes. Just wait for it.
There's actually a dollar amount with commissions on a per work basis, which salespeople sometimes don't see. That's why when I make those videos where I'm like, commissions and salaries is the same shit. It's just the way you get paid is like because I made videos where I'm like, a salary is just a commission, because if you don't work with a salary, you don't get paid. And inside of sales, you might not see it, but you're literally getting paid for the work you do, but just in a lump sum. That's the only difference. You just get paid a lump sum of money, and usually it's a freaking shit ton more. Like, you get paid. We just made a video about this where I'm like, you get paid per lead you call or per door you knock, but you just get paid at the end of the month in one big lump sum, only if you continue doing it. If you stop, when you're in rhythm and you stop on a Saturday or you take a 6-week break, you don't know when your yes is around the corner that's going to pay you that lump sum. That's why it's so important in sales to work it every single day. Of course, have your balance on it Sunday, etc. But to stay in flow, like don't stop calling just because 9 people said no.
Yes.
There's a dollar amount attached towards it.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like we just get paid in lump sums of money. It's never equal. And it's not. Like when we get paid a lump sum, it's also not equal. It's like, yeah, sure, it's not fair to make a $130,000 paycheck, but we stuck it out when 3,000 people said no.
And the good thing about that is you get to leverage it, right? You get the
Right.
lump sum. Okay, now I'm going to invest in this system. I'm going to invest now in a couple guys, or
Right.
I'm going to have so much. I'm going to invest in real estate. So it leverages. It gives you leverage, right?
Uh-huh.
How do you personally get pumped before a phone call? I mean, now it's second nature. It's so hard to think about that, but just for guys that are starting out right now,
Yeah. For me, I always say like, okay, this person is gonna go into my pipeline. It's my job to move them. So like, I always say one thing that when I enter the call, I'm gonna be in a different position than I did when I started the call at the end of the call. So meaning like most salespeople are like, okay, there's a dead end to this call. My thing is always like, I'm gonna take this lead and I'm gonna move this lead. So I'm either gonna get data to this lead, I'm gonna get a referral from this lead, I'm gonna have a follow-up from this lead, I'm gonna book another meeting from this lead. My job when I start a call is just to move the needle forward. Most salespeople think it's a dead end when they don't close or they do close, it's a dead end. But we know when you close somebody, you just open up a new relationship. So it's like an infinity cycle. So even when somebody says no to me, I'm like, there's no dead end. I'm gonna get data from this person. I'm gonna work through my pipeline. I'm gonna get a referral. I'm gonna get something from this individual where there's no dead end from this person. So if I see that there's no dead end, I can't lose inside of sales.
right?
Number one, I've never had the prospect in the first place, so I can't lose somebody that I've never had.
Right.
Like most people get discouraged from that, where they're like, well, how about if I call this lead and they were never your customer in the first place. You can't lose in business. When people say, well, where does confidence come from? By never losing. Like you can't physically lose. You came on the earth with $0, 0 customers. You can't lose customers you've never had.
I'm laughing because you know who said that? It was someone that I just interviewed recently. He's the owner of like over 400 or 500 gas stations.
Wow.
Max Alvarez. He's actually local. And he said the same thing. He's like, I don't lose.
Yeah.
This just doesn't exist. It's just, everything's a winning step forward.
Correct.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, that's how winners think, because they're like, okay, even if a deal was lost, like you went through your deal or you had a bad business that went through, to me, I'm always like, well, I've never had it in the first place. So what's the win? I don't know, a learning curve? Like on an objection handling call, on a cold call, most salespeople that think they lose when they get on a cold call, they're actually not self-reliant. Self-reliant means that they didn't listen to the conversation, because it's actually a gain if somebody told you no and, okay, you didn't close the deal. My thought process was like, okay, what were the objections that they gave me? How can I just become better at that on my next call so my call's a little bit easier? Why did I lose? Okay, that gave me data, which is a win, because I got new data for my next call. My next call, which is probably like, a conversation that we're gonna have, how do you make cold calls and how do you deal with difficult objections on a cold call and how do you start a cold call? Well, I'm gonna start off my cold calls with why people don't wanna buy my product in the first place. I'm gonna start off my cold call with that. So my cold call formula is like, why don't people buy the products, or why don't people give you the time of day? And then I'm gonna start off with that. So I know on a cold call, if it's completely cold, there's some objections that are gonna come up. I'm too busy, call me back, we're already working with somebody, send me over some information. Those are like pre-prospecting objections.
All right, I'm gonna butt you in there.
Yep.
Start off with the 3 opening lines.
Yep. Now that I know that's
Right.
what people are gonna say, I'm now just gonna create my script off that, where it's basically, Bob, it's Daniel G calling you. I got like 2.5 seconds here because I gotta run into my next meeting. I don't know if you can help me or not. You're the business owner of 123 Street. Yes, I am. Who's calling? Again, it's Daniel. We service a lot of the people in your surrounding area. I wouldn't be able to have a conversation right now about whatever it is, the water, mortgages, insurance, about your property, because I got to head out to my next meeting in the next 5 minutes. Would it be better if I just send you over an email based on what we're doing with a lot of your neighbors in the surrounding area? Yeah, sure. Well, what I did there was I basically said, hey, it's Daniel. Number one, I'm a little bit busy. I got to jump onto my next meeting because I know you're going to tell me you're busy. Number two, I'm going to confirm who it is that I'm speaking with. Number three, I said also, I'm gonna leave the conversation because people are always trying to kick you out, so I'm gonna kick myself out. I'm gonna leave the conversation. Hey, by the way, would it be cool if I send you over some more information about your property? It looks like maybe we could support you a little bit. I don't know at this point. Yeah, cool, shoot me over an email. What's your email? It's bob@123@gmail.com. Perfect, Bob. Inside of that email right now, what can I better explain? Do you want to see the rates of what we're giving people right now? Do you want to see what your property is worth? Do you want to see what people sold for? What can better assist you inside of that email? Well, yeah, and now I'm inside of the conversation by just letting him know that he can leave the conversation. So my cold call formula is just about how people would say no to me and start off with how they would say no. Instead of saying like, say I'm a real estate agent. Are you interested in selling your property? Are you interested in getting my water inside of your gym? Are you interested in garbage disposal services? No, I'm not interested. Dead end. But if I say, hey, is this Bob? Yes, it's Bob. Bob, it's Daniel G. I'm sitting down at my desk right now with my executive assistant. Don't have an executive assistant. It's the first day working with George. Hey, I'm sitting down right now with my executive assistant. I'm going through a lot of the people right now that have been working with us, I think, inside of your neighborhood. I can't have a conversation right now about your property, but we have been servicing a lot of people inside of XYZ neighborhood. How long have you been there for? 5 years. Cool. Can you support me a little bit? I want to send you over an email. And I'm getting into this conversation where I'm trying not to make them say I'm too busy or I'm not interested.
Yeah, it's almost like a curious attempt, but you're also saying, hey, I'm busy as heck too.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying, we're on the same page and I don't know if I can even help you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
My thing is always the pullback.
Yeah,
where it's
pullback.
Like, I have good energy, but I'm always constantly pulling back. But I'm also using my skills. So like, I think when people cold call, we're in a market today where it would be stupid not to cold call with some sort of data. So if I know the person's at 123 Dundon Street and I'm a real estate agent, I'm selling a home. Hey, listen, by the way, we've been serving specifically people at 123 Dundon Street because we work with families specifically and there's schools there. And we work with a lot of people that like safety inside of the neighborhoods. I don't know, but I'm gonna do some sort of research. There was 2 properties that sold for $740,000 and $250,000 right in your neighborhood. Both were very, very different properties and yours kind of came on our radar. When's the last time you got an estimate on your home? I wanna better understand. Or when's the last time, whatever the case is. Well, I'm not interested. Well, people can only say I'm not interested if you've asked them, hey, by the way, are you looking to buy or sell? Are you looking, that's where you open yourself up for failure.
Yeah, 100%.
When you come in the conversation with skills, you show them that you're skillful.
Guys, that's Daniel G, #1 sales coach right there in the world. Dan, I'm laughing right now because, dude, I literally put that to the test on a text message. I sent you a text message. I sent you the picture. This is the client that I toured a warehouse. All right? It's a $50 million deal. Wow. Right? Toured it. This guy has the money. He's touring it, but then goes freaking silent for like a week, 3 days. And I'm texting him. No answer. I was like, you know what? Screw this. I saw your video right before, so I started off. I've been busy, so I haven't gotten back to you. So kind of letting you know, hey, I'm busy too. I haven't gotten back to you. As I'm sending you this message, I noticed you didn't respond to my last 2 messages, right? And then the third one was, let me know if you're still interested in getting this good deal below market, off market, right?
Yep.
If you don't respond back, I know you're not interested, and I'll just put this on the back burner.
Yep.
Almost like backing out.
Yep.
Dude, he calls me right back.
Yep. You reinstated the benefit one more time.
One more time.
But you had like that message where it was almost like, but it's okay.
I'll pull it out.
I won't call you back.
Yeah, I won't call you back and you'll lose it.
Yeah.
He calls me like 2 minutes later. Boom. Hey, I'm sorry, I was in Spain. I'm in Israel now. Put an offer together. That's it.
Yeah.
So
I think there's also like that point in that follow-up where, you use that where it's like, hey, you did your job now. Like, I think salespeople, this is a good conversation to have. Salespeople are always in the middle of, do I follow up too much or because I don't want to be aggressive?
And they don't want to be rude either.
They don't want to be rude.
Right.
Or it's like, but if I don't follow up, I'm not doing my job.
Right.
So what's the middle ground? The middle ground is this. You follow up once, you follow up twice. If it's by your 3rd or 4th time and there's no reply, that's where you start giving them the, hey, I'm going to exit. I'm not going to contact you back. It's okay. You just got to have a time frame. Like, okay, I messaged guy once. People are busy. I messaged this guy twice. People are busy. The 3rd message is going to be like, okay, 3rd strike. I call it like 3 strikes. 3rd strike is like, hey, dude, I know you're super busy. I've been super busy too as well. And I love that you started off with the fact where it's like,
I haven't gotten back to you earlier.
Yeah, I couldn't get back to you earlier. What are the cases? It's like, most salespeople are usually starting off in a position where they're under posture, where they're like,
Yeah.
hey, I haven't heard from you, where it's like, hey, listen, I've been super busy. We've been helping with XYZ. I noticed above you didn't reply to my last message, right? So you're not apologizing for hitting them up so much. Sorry for your interruption. I apologize. You just get right into it. We've been busy with XYZ. But hey, I noticed you didn't reply back to my last 2 messages. I have this wicked thing lined up. Let me know if it's still on your priority list. If not, completely understand. We'll put in the files. We had a couple other people, but I just wanted to do my due diligence. I always say, I wanted to do my due diligence of, putting this, back at the forefront, just as a reminder. Let me know by the end of today or tomorrow, whatever the cutoff frame is, right? And salespeople, sometimes, we under posture ourselves, being like, I don't want to cut off this relationship. Well, all you're doing is like, you're giving yourself time and respect, because like, as a salesperson, you can make a lot of money. So you got to also treat yourself like the executive, being like, listen, I think salespeople have to understand that walking away from a deal that where you're like, your intuition is like, I don't know if this person hasn't replied back. You have to come to
Give yourself respect. I always say, give yourself respect.
You have to learn how to walk away.
Yeah.
Like, you have to learn how to walk away. That's the most important thing inside of sales, knowing that you're going to be freaking good.
Yeah.
When you don't know that you're not good or good without that person, that's where you get screwed up inside of business.
Yeah.
Like, that's where people, like, in life, it's like,
you're not confident.
When you think about a team member leaving you, or somebody not buying from you, or your woman or your boyfriend leaving you, they've already left. Mm-hmm. They left. That person's like I chit chat. I have a lot of female clients in sales, and they'll constantly, bring this thing. I don't know if my guy's gonna leave me, or even my guy sales rep. Well, I don't know if this girl's gonna stick with me, blah, blah. That's a real thought. I said, if you think that, they've already left.
Yep. 100%.
No confident person is thinking that. They're moving their life with confidence.
Yeah, they're moving ahead with or without.
Yeah. And then guess what? That person's attracted to it, because you're not thinking. The weakest mindset is thinking about keeping.
Yeah.
A real mindset is thinking about producing.
Yeah.
So like, the person that's already thinking about keeping somebody, that's such a low, like, think about like,
dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, you think about somebody, like, imagine it was just in a relationship, like, I hope my girlfriend stays with me. That's already a shitty vibration, or whatever you want to call it.
That's like a narcissist mentality of like.
Yeah, it's actually, it is. It's true. It's like, you're like, I hope they stay with me, instead of saying like, let's fucking make this relationship amazing.
Going into that, what's crazy, I had that when I first started in real estate as an agent.
Right.
I get not recruited, but I get the opportunity to work with these, bigger brokerage developers. The broker that I was with was chopping me up, and I gave him an opportunity. I was like, hey, look, give me a better split. He's like, no, you're not leaving. You can't leave without me. You're not worth anything without me. You need me in all the deals. And I was like, dude, this guy's trying to like mind control me right now. I'm like, dude, I'm out. It was scary for me, because I was kind of like 2 years in, but I'm like, you know what? Hell no, I'm taking this leap. And I went forward. Fast forward, I got like 8 agents with me, 9. One of the top guys, he's old, he's 50, closing big deals, making me good money. He leaves. But I'm like, dude, that's fine. And I wish him the best. I go, hey man, whatever you need, I'm still gonna be here for you. Encourage, because I give my guys value. I was like, look, I'm gonna give you guys training. I'm gonna give you my support. I'm gonna give you everything. He was a lone wolf, so I was like, hey, we just spoke right now before this call, and we're gonna meet, and that's how it is, bro. I wish him the best. Keep going, keep crushing it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And at the end of the day, we're still in sales. I'm still gonna see you. But the other guy, freaking horrible, dude. Yeah. Like, he just wants to take advantage of all his agents. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's again, it goes back to a mindset thing. I think as a business owner, you develop it more where you've seen so many people come and go, where you realize that that's just number one business. You see clients come and go. Yeah. And then, in your head, you just say like, I'm good regardless. Like, I don't care. Like, do I want great people to stay with me? Yeah. Regardless who stays with me or not, I'm gonna get mine. Exactly. I'm gonna win, I'm gonna get mine. Like I have that mentality where that attracts people. Cause like, let's say there's great salespeople that work for my company. In the beginning, I'd be like, okay, I hope this person just sees the vision that I see, and people would leave. And then I'd move with the energy of saying like, oh dude, like, they're working for the best fucking person possible. We're gonna make this person millions of dollars, right? If they see it, if not, they not. But we don't try to coddle people and hold on to people, because we know the value that we bring inside of the company.
They have to see the value themselves.
Yeah, that's it. We know the value that we bring, and I'm not gonna even think the mindset of trying to keep people. My mindset is always gonna try to constantly grow myself and grow other
100%.
people, right? Yeah. So it's just about as you're a salesperson, you're a leader, what you're trying to do is better that client and put them in a better position. And then you move with that energy instead of always being like, hopefully, they could see what I see. Just move with the energy like, hey, I wish more people had the perception of like, when you sit in a barber's chair, you almost feel like relaxed. Like it's the barber's job now to be like, hey, I got this. What do you need? Okay, I got you, right? You sit in their chair. And as a salesperson, it's like, listen, you're that barber. You ask them listen, I got you. Give me 5 hours. What do you need? Okay, I got you. People respect that when somebody can take lead of the conversation.
Yeah.
We're not with our barber and being like, yeah, maybe the first time you're like, but by the second sit with your barber, he's like, sit down. This guy can move your face. You're so relaxed that you take a nap in the barber chair sometimes because you trust him because he doesn't show signs of like, he's not doing this with you around the chair. Imagine a barber was doing this like, and he's looking at you like that, you'd get up the seat.
Yeah, of course.
So salespeople, when they don't know what the heck they're talking about and they're not real with their clients, that's what happens. People give you objections.
Right.
People don't give people objections that just lead the conversation. You're just like, hey, listen, Bob, nice to meet you, pleasure. I gotta jump on my next appointment. Dude, what is it exactly you need? I'm not gonna BS you. If I'm gonna give you a call back, I'm gonna give you a call back with something better. You're never gonna hear my name again. What is it you need? What's a rate? Blah, blah, blah. Oh shit, it's somebody real. And that's the best tone that you can use inside. It's because somebody asked me.
It's confidence.
It was, and it's just being real.
Real.
Like, dude, my shit doesn't change. So when people, listen, I love tonality on calls. I'm a firm believer that yes, tonality works when you're curious. Tell me a little bit more. Are you 100% certain? I'm confused. Tonality works. But the first tonality that salespeople got to grasp onto is just the tonality of actually just giving a shit. That, if I could tell somebody the number one, like that is never in a book. Actually, I should put that inside of my book. Tonality.
There's a saying for that. There's a saying.
What is it?
It doesn't matter how much you know,
Right.
but how much you care.
Yes.
Nobody cares how much you know. Show me how much you care.
You care. And then people care about you when you care about them, right?
Yeah.
People don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care about them.
You know how much you care.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, this guy cares.
That's a tonality.
That's it.
The master tonality is just like genuinely giving a shit.
That's it. That's,
Like-
that's what I told my guys. You gotta freaking care. Empathically listening.
That's it. Like when I same stuff. When I tell salespeople, I say, listen, where in that conversation did you feel that they felt you gave a shit about them? And they say, what? I said, let me say it again. Tell me in the conversation where you felt, your intuition, you're a smart person, where you felt they felt you gave a shit about them. Where? That's why you're not making the sale. Because I know where that person was like, huh. And that huh was like, shit, this person actually gives a shit. That was a good question. I'm like, that's when on the 13th minute when I leaned in, I said, Barbara, wait, what the heck do you mean by that? I want to better understand. And she was like, huh. I said, right there, that person knew that I was in it for her. Yeah. And the best form of rapport is when somebody else knows you're in their best interest. That's how you build rapport. 100%. Rapport is built when like that other person knows, like yes, rapport is built through relationships, finding points of commonality. But the true stroke of rapport is when you're interested in that person's best interest. Like when you walk into a store and you're like, hey, I want X, Y, Z. And you're looking at something and you're like, hey, you know what? I know you wanted to buy that and you're about to check out. I think this is gonna serve you better because you're not gonna come back in 3 weeks from now because that one's a little bit low quality and have a refund or have some questions. Maybe you should do that right there. Yeah. And now I'm looking at the salesperson, I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna buy that. Why? Because subconsciously I said, this person gives a shit about my best interest.
They're solving your problem.
That's rapport.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the highest form of me trusting somebody. So in terms of tonality, don't be scared to sometimes be authentic and say, wait, stop. I was gonna have a whole conversation about you, Barbara, about X, Y, Z. What do you mean about that you guys paid this last year? I wanna better understand. Boom. There's no better tonality than just freaking giving a shit. Like that right there, actually caring is probably the highest sales strategy in the freaking world.
Yeah.
That's the highest marketing strategy, the highest branding
Trust,
strategy.
that builds trust.
That's what I do with my brand.
That's it, it's trust. If the person doesn't trust you, they're not going anywhere. But if the person feels like they trust you, like you care, that deal's closed. I mean, and they'll call you back and it's a lifelong relationship. That's the beauty about sales. I'm going to the next one now.
Yeah, go.
If a broker, this is for my new brokers out there, okay? If a broker is new and doesn't have a big reputation, how can they still sound confident and credible on the phone?
Well, the first thing is this, right? Number one, repetition is going to help you a lot. It's very hard to not be confident after you made like 1,000 calls in a week. Like this problem is just people just don't go through the numbers. 1, 2. If you don't have credibility, leverage other people's credibility around you. So like if my company has credibility and I'm cold calling somebody, I'll say, hey, listen, my organization worked with XYZ. If I start off broke and my company has $20 million in sales or $100 million in sales, I can leverage my company and say, listen, this is what we've done. So it's not so much that you're lying to the individual, hey, this is what we've done inside of the area. So I can also lean, not just I can lean on my own confidence of knowing my product and offer and service, but at the same time also lean on my company. So you can leverage, see, like I was 20 years old when I started selling inside of hospitals. Hospitals meaning like I've sold medical device equipment inside of hospitals. You gotta think, I'm the youngest sales executive in North America to ever be freaking hired inside of a job where you're selling CEOs and doctors. I'm a baby. Dude, like, yes, because I was 6 years already inside of sales, I looked at my VP in the face when he was onboarding me. I said, in the next 6 months, I'll be your best sales rep, and if you guys don't hire me, I'll just go work for your competitor. And he looks at me, he's like, I can't believe I'm hiring a 21-year, or 20, I think I was 19 and a half, a 19-year-old kid to be an account manager for $1 billion organization. And I held my ground, they hired me. So I'm like the youngest freaking kid, dude, that they've ever had dealing with accounts that already had millions of dollars buying from us. So like the first day he looked at me, he's like, dude, listen, I don't expect you to be a sales superstar, just don't fuck up any of the relationships. So I'm looking at this and I said, okay, I'm young. How do I not think about my age, but think about the credibility and the age of the company? Let me lean on that. Let me lean on the credibility of the company. Let me talk about why the company's great. After I understand you, I'm not gonna talk about myself. I'm not gonna lead with myself. Who cares, right? It's not about you. Yes, people buy into you, but the you is you leveraging your credibility so well, right? So that's what I did. I understood my company best and what we did, and if I felt a little bit nervous, I went back to the company.
Yeah.
Right?
That's great. That's great. That's what I tell my guys. I'm like, if you're new, just lean on all the deals that I've done. You know? Hey, look, we closed this, we closed this. That's it. You're in, you know?
Yeah, somebody like you got to think of it like every single person that built something massive, like every single business person, boss person, I'm like, listen, they had to crank out a first deal somehow.
Exactly.
You know, like they had to do it somehow. There's always a first deal to be smacked out. And they obviously had a way where it's like, it's not the time it's going to take for you to become confident. It's the time it's going to take for you to say, oh shit, I have to give myself permission that I could do this, so I don't have to wait a year. It could be within a month, but it's just giving yourself permission. It's how long you give yourself permission, not how long it's gonna take to be confident. It's how long you give yourself permission to, okay, I'm gonna leverage the credibility of somebody else.
Exactly. No, 100%. If someone is struggling with confidence, repeated rejections, what's the one exercise or routine you recommend to reset their energy?
The one exercise or routine to reset energy.
Yeah, someone's on a slump. Someone's been getting clicked on. Someone's getting rejected. They're like on a slump. Mm-hmm. Like, what's a routine or something that you do to kind of get back in?
I have something in my mindset that when I'm stuck in a valley, I always go back to any other point inside of life that if I was stuck inside of a low in any other area of life that I pushed through, whether it was a job that fired me, I would never go back to that old job that fired me. There was always a mountain around the corner. So I always knew, wow, if I'm stuck and everything I did that I pushed through, there was always something better around the corner, whether it was a girlfriend that you have. You're like, I would never go date that other chick that I was crying about before. So I always say, you know inside of life that when you were stuck and then you push through, eventually there was something better around the corner. It's the same thing inside of sales. I know if I'm in a slump but I keep pushing through, there's probably my next best client around the corner. So when people are stuck inside of a slump, you just gotta realize that if you push through, there's a mountain around the corner because it happened in every other area of your life. So when you think of that, you're never really stuck in low because you're like, okay, shit, something around the corner is about to happen big because I've been stuck in this low for so long. But let me just keep operating with ethics.
It's right around the corner.
That's all you gotta do is really just keep operating with ethics and just do the right thing.
Yeah, 100%. Right? You know what's cool, what's interesting, what I used to do is I would just randomly call people and just give them something, like give them something of value.
Right.
And made me like feel good about myself. Like, you know what? I feel like crap. I've been getting slammed on. Let me just give to get some good energy back. You know what I mean? Hey, look, I'm just gonna give you this report. This is what just happened in the neighborhood. And that's opening doors. So I tell my guys, you're in a slump, freaking call somebody, call anybody, just give them something of value.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of goes back to my cold call. Like imagine it goes back to the cold call where you're like, okay, I gotta get this person to say yes. Well, the reality is this. In sales, you can't sell where you can't close and collect money. So it's like when you're cold calling, you're actually not closing. You're cold calling. You're setting an appointment. You're booking a meeting. So the reality is, if you approach it just to be like, wait, all I'm doing right now is I'm just gonna get some more data and send this person over information. Why don't you just start the cold call like that, where it's like, if you're in a slump, you're just like, dude, I got no time right now. What's your email? Let me gift you out something. Imagine you did that to 300 people. You don't think a conversation is gonna happen?
100%.
Hey, what's your email? bob@123@gmail.com. Bob, what's the most important thing that I could put inside of the email? Is it X? Is it Y? Is it Z? Is it the price you're gonna pay for this product? Is it, the savings you get? Or is it actually what we do inside of the marketplace? I think it's actually what you guys do inside of the marketplace. Perfect, I'm gonna fire that off. And quick question around that, Bob. Boom, you're inside of a conversation.
100%. You're in. Yeah. If you had to rebuild your sales career today from scratch with no contacts, no brand, what would your first 90 days look like?
Exactly what I did in the beginning, which was like get into something where I can go high volume. High volume means that I wouldn't try to focus on a big paycheck. I would focus on something that's very high volume, 100 to 300 contacts per day, because in the first 30 days, I'm getting the pit out of my stomach. The next 30 days, I'm planting seeds. In the final 30 days, I know I'm gonna harvest the seeds that I planted in the last 30 days. So like when you said in the first 90 days, I'm gonna plan that out where it's like the first 30 days, I'm just understanding my customer. That's it. I just wanna understand my customer. I wanna hear what they're saying to me. I just wanna understand what my customer's saying to me, and I'm gonna write it down. This is what they're giving me as objections. I'm gonna study everything my customer's telling me about. That way in the next 30 days, I'm gonna start planting my seeds around their nose. I just wanna study the nose of my customer. Most people try to study how to get to a yes, and I said, if you understood what your customers are telling you when they say that a no, and you start that off inside of your conversation, sales becomes easy. So I just wanna understand, hey, what are my customers telling me when they're saying no?
Yeah.
Let me understand my customers' issues and problems. What are they actually going through? So when I pick up on the next 30 days, I know my customers' problems. Like I know it once I get on this call. Bob, have you been experiencing X, Y, and Z? If not, it's probably not a right conversation with us. Out of those three, what do you have your attention on most? Because I've already talked to 50 business owners, 100 business owners.
You reverse engineer it.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
I love it. What is a win in your career that you still look back on and think, man, I can't believe I pulled that off?
My first speaking gig that was paid for in 2019 maybe, 20?
Pre-COVID?
Yeah, before COVID, 2019, that's right, before COVID. 2019, somebody called me and said, hey, we'd love for you to speak in UK. And I was about to say for free, and then one of my reps sent over like a $10,000, $15,000 contract, and they paid it. And till today, that money that came in was better than any $1 million that you ever make. So I always tell people like, you will make a lot of money in sales, but own the beginning feelings of it, because you're gonna make 100 times more money, but it's never gonna feel as good as the first dollar that you made.
Yeah.
Right. And then the kicker for me was, okay, how can I get other people now to experience that feeling? You know what I mean? And then you're gonna make more now, so it's like what you do with that money. Because if you don't have a purpose with money, you're gonna make a whole bunch of money and spend a whole bunch of money. But if you have purpose with money, when you know you're gonna collect that extra 100, what are you gonna do with that extra 100? If you're not intentful about the money that you make, you'll have no emotions around it.
If there's one piece of advice, we're gonna wrap up here.
Yeah, we're good.
One piece of advice you could give to a broker out there starting out in this business, even though it's not your industry.
Yeah.
But in sales, for them to kind of be a power broker in this industry, what advice would you give them?
This one's gonna be weird for people, but I would say spend more of your time on the activities of your business that drive your business rather than twirling your thumbs and hoping for business. So let me spread this out. Inside of sales, there's passive tasks and there's active tasks. I'm gonna give people a list of passive tasks. Passive tasks is networking, building relationships, building a brand online. That's passive. Meaning like me and you, we're in the pool, we're fucking shooting the shit. That's just because what we do. It's not an active task. Active task is like, okay, I'm gonna slam the phones. I'm gonna be very transactional with people. I know who I'm gonna go out with. Active. I would encourage everybody that's watching this, focus on active a lot more than passive, because a lot of salespeople focus on passive more than active. And passive more than active is like, yeah, I'm going out to this party to go network, or I'm going to make this video to go brand. Yes, I get it, but that's wishing and praying, hoping you get something like, hopefully my marketplace here, hopefully. Active is like, I'm strategically gonna go reach out to these people because of this. I'm a lot more on that transactional side than I am on the passive side. Both things are very helpful. I brand 24/7, but that is a passive task. Branding is like, hopefully somebody responds to my video. Hopefully I met that person at the event, something happens from it. Active is like, dude, I'm gonna control my business. This is how I'm gonna control it, through fucking prospecting the right people that I have an intentful conversation with. So now I'm very active and transactional with my business, being like, okay, can this person use me? Where's my time being spent? I think that's where brokers, they're stuck in this middle of being like, how do I run my business? Focus on being active inside of your business.
Instead of the branding, instead of the logo, instead of the...
That's all important.
It is. But it's not the active.
It's not what makes money.
No, it's not what makes money.
It's that's what supports you when you're being active.
Right.
After you're being active and they go back and they see that you have...
It's almost like the gravy. It's the gravy.
Yeah, that's what's going to help you. Okay, bubble. But what's going to make you your initial dollars? Everybody made money being offline. Is online being important? Yes, of course. But that is a passive duty. I would focus on the active duties, because the passive duty is just the cherry on top. It's hoping and wishing, praying something's gonna do something. The problem is that you have to figure out a way to do both. That's it. Like, I had to figure out a way to be like, all right, do I have passive tasks? Do we build a brand? But do I make sure my activity is more important right now than my passive? But I just gotta figure out a way to do both. So I figured out a way inside of my life to do both. I don't think life is this or that. I think life is a lot of this and a little bit of that. Like, you know, like that's the way I see business. I'm not a complete split on everything. So like, even if it's health, I'm like, okay, listen, I work a business a lot, but I still got to do it. I'm not going to be Bob the bodybuilder, but I'm still going to find a way to do the health thing. So it's not a completely like, it's this or that. It's all one.
Yeah.
There's going to be seasons where it's more of this and less of that. It's more of this and more of that. Or
it has to be balanced.
Yeah. Like you gotta figure out what you're playing for. So like balance, which is good for some people that are confused, it's like, you have to be okay by being in your season. So if you're in a season where you're like, fuck, dude, we got to make $1 million within 6 months, you're going to be, to society, a little bit imbalanced, maybe with the social life. But it's okay, because you're shooting for greatness right now. When greatness is achieved and you're there, you're going to take a lot off this and go more on this side, on the social side or the vacation side or whatever the case is. So it's not confusing yourself. The moment you know your goal, you don't try to fucking fake balance for people. So for example, for me, I was in this weird position where I was traveling so much, right? So I was on the road 24/7 like I am right now. And I'm like, well, man, I want to have like a social life back home. But I'm like, wait, what did you ask for? You asked to be the world's #1 sales trainer. That requires you to be around the world. You asked to be the world's #1 sales trainer. That means you're going to have an imbalance of having routine at home. Routine at home and world don't go hand in hand. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'm good with that right now. But I had to clarify what I wanted, the season I was in, and okay with not having fucking routine at home. Yeah. When people don't know what they want, they don't know the season. If they don't know the season, they think their balance is dependent on somebody else. But balance is different for everybody. So then I became okay with it in my body, saying, you know what? I'm not gonna have routine as Mary, Bob, and Jill that are at home in Miami. That's okay, because I said I wanted to be the world's #1.
That's it.
So balance comes when you know what you want, you own the season that you're freaking in, and then you're like, okay, I'm okay with what I'm doing right now, because it's always gonna change.
God handed you exactly what you prayed for.
Yeah, there's gonna, exactly.
He's like, hey, that's what you wanted, here it is.
Yeah, don't complain when
you have it, you're like, whoa, what's going on?
Correct. Yeah. So like, you will get it. That's why I say, when you ask for something and you work hard ethically, you're gonna have a day, a week, or a month where it's given inside of your hand. Maybe it's only gonna be given it for a day, but on that day, it's like your test day, meaning like, what are you gonna do when you're given that day where you made a lot of money or a lot of people say yes? You're gonna go blow it and go do something stupid the next day, or be like, you know what, I asked for this, let me go pour it on the next day. Because everybody has a good day inside of business, it's just how many days you can repeat it. Most people have a killer freaking day where they book a lot of meetings, but it's just like, now that's a sign that at work, can you go repeat it? A lot of reps struggle with repetition of their best days.
Consistency is the hardest thing for people.
Yeah, being predictable.
Sales.
And consistent.
You gotta do the same boring thing a lot of times.
Yep.
That's it.
That boring shit.
Yeah.
The boring shit is what pays.
That's what pays.
That's what consistency is, right?
Consistency is. You gotta do the
people are
boring
like,
stuff consistently.
it shouldn't be so exciting.
It's not. It shouldn't.
And
then you gotta have to kind of have fun with it.
In your own head.
In your own head.
Yeah, in your own head. Just being like somehow, some way, you got to think like, dude, you're a superstar inside of your head. Like you're this big ass broker. I don't know. You're cranking these $1 million deals. Something inside of your head.
I would psych myself out when I would make these calls, and I would just, I would literally, I was like, dude, it's a psych. It's almost like, it's kind of weird, but
yes.
I would psych myself up to make all these calls, you know?
Well,
and just have fun with it.
It's the reason why I have the dream everywhere and stuff like that, because I'm like, it's the thought of having the dream that is going to give you high energy, but it's being okay with being boring. So it's like the balance of the dream and doing the boring shit.
Yeah.
If you could balance those two things out, every single time you make a call, you're like, okay, this is going to be my dream life. This is going to be my dream life. This is going to happen in 5 years, but I got to do all this boring shit.
Exactly.
Most people think in order to live the dream, you got to do all this new stuff, so they never end up living it.
Exactly.
I always say, like, dude, the only way you can live your dream is you're willing to do more boring shit than the average person.
Stay away out of the limelight.
Yeah.
For me, I had a buddy of mine. He does very well. He's like, dude, you have to go to these networking events. You have to do this. I was like, bro, I don't have to do that. I'm making good money without doing that. I'm just freaking. By the way, when I go to these networking events, like, I don't know. It doesn't. Like, you have to call them back. Hey, remember me? And then try to see what business you're going to
go back into prospecting.
You go into prospecting. So why not just go straight into prospecting?
Yeah, in your business.
In your business. I mean, you have the list. You're going direct, and that's it. You close the deals. You're giving value of these multi-millionaires that know what they want, and that's it.
Yeah, I love it.
You know?
It's fun, dude.
Dan.
This is freaking fun, dude.
Yeah, dude, I loved it.
This is fun.
#1 sales coach in the world right here.
Appreciate you having me.
Daniel G.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
And if you guys ever want, when I get these guys out books this week, we're going to have somebody drop them off. You guys can grab my book, thesalesgamebook.com. Go grab one. Appreciate you guys.